But Mark, let's move over. We're going to stay in the North, but go from the AFC side to the NFC side. And what we're talking about is after 4 weeks of the NFL season, the Chicago Bears are at the top of the NFC North.
It's wonderful.
I get it. Like, I'm going to say this. I get it. Have fun. If I was a Bears fan, I would be happy that my team was at the top 2. But the thing I will say, and this goes out to, because the thing I know about Chicago from living in Chicago is basically Chicago sports fans, and I am one of you with the Cubs and the Bulls. I think we give other sports fans a run for their money when it comes to craziest sports fans or most delusional sports fans. Because when our team's really good, we just buy all in and basically it's called being a fan, let's be honest. But the Bears 3-1. The Vikings, my Vikings 1-2-1. The Packers are 2-1-1. Mark, I'm just basically going to ask you,
sure,
should the Vikings and the Packers be worried about the Bears?
And you're going to hate me for this, but it's a yes and a no. They should in a sense because right now the Bears are hot, and if they continue playing the way they are, then they can actually be a contender for the division. The other part to the yes is the fact that this is a scary team when you look at the fact that most of their players are under the age of 30. And most of their players are good, and hopefully Trubisky gets better. So this is a scary team for the next, 3, 4, 5 years. Although last year many people would have said the same exact thing about the Vikings, and the Vikings are struggling at the moment, so you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
The no side of it is the fact that things will probably calm down a little bit for the Bears. They're still, the Buccaneers game was really the shining. This is the best the Bears can possibly be. Like, look how great everything's going. They'll come back down to earth a little bit, and they'll have ups and downs and things like that. But even with, Trubisky in his blue sleeve at the moment, the no that really rings out to me is because both the Vikings and the Packers should be less concerned about what the Bears are doing and more concerned about their own teams at the moment. Because both these teams are sitting there with their own kind of issues that need to be worked out as well. And that, I think, is more dangerous to them than the Chicago Bears is.
Let's be completely honest. We word this the way we did because we didn't want to make it too wordy. We're not talking to the head coaches. Like, Mike Zimmer is not going to be worried about what the Bears are doing.
Yeah.
He's worried about his team. Like he has said, he goes, this is probably the worst pass defense team that I've had. Or he basically ripped the pass defense, which a year ago, if you would have said that, I would have been like, no, our pass defense is great. We'll be fine next year. And we haven't been. But I look at this so far through 4 weeks, and I just want to, I'm gonna say this because I know it's gonna dig into some Bears fans. Relax. A, it's 4 weeks. 2, look at some of the teams that you have beaten. Seattle. Seattle's defense is not what they once were. It was a good Monday night game. You got the monkey off your back where your team can finally win in primetime. But Seattle's not the dominant 12th man defense, not the Legion of Boom. That officially died this weekend when Earl Thomas got carted off the field. Then you played Arizona. I know Sam Bradford. I wasn't high on Sam Bradford. Josh Rosen's only a rookie. Did you expect him to lead the team down there on a fourth quarter comeback?
I don't know. Rookies have done it before.
They have. I was hoping for it, but that's another thing where I look at it, I go, the Cardinals aren't really that strong of a team. Plus, you look at your defense. If you would have lost that game, I would have been like, how? Arizona's offensive line is bad. They are bad. And compared to your pass rush, there's no way the Bears should have lost that game. I was even surprised it was as close as it was, 16-14. Then you play Tampa Bay, which I'm going to give credit to Mitch Trubisky. You got to go, like, with Mitch, you got to go out there and play the game. Like, you just don't roll out of bed and throw 6 touchdowns unless you're Nick Foles. Otherwise, I also got to give credit to Matt Nagy for putting Mitch Trubisky in the situations and in the right ones to succeed. However, looking at the flip side, because I'm not a Bears fan, I don't have those purple or the blue and orange goggles, you played a defense that gave up 30 points to Pittsburgh, gave up 40 points to New England. The only time they haven't given up over 30 points was when they gave up 21 to a struggling Eagles team that was led by Nick Foles at the time.
Which basically what you
Wentz.
said, though, is that Mitchell Trubisky better than Super Bowl MVP. Nick Foles better than Big Ben. You know, he's got a ring better than Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. What you just said is Mitchell Trubisky
that's not what I'm saying.
is officially the greatest quarterback of all time.
I'm saying you played a bad Tampa Bay. Like, here's the thing I'm going to use as ammo, too. When you click on Tampa Bay's page for ESPN, the top article right now says Bucs need to rethink defensive strategy. Their defense
Bucs need to remember that defense is part of the game.
Their defense is bad, Mark.
Oh, for sure.
Very bad. So, I mean, there's that. First off, I look at it and I go, take it with a grain of salt. Now, I know some Bears fans are saying, but Ricky, we played great against the Packers. That I will give you. That Bears game against the Packers was phenomenal. You probably should be 4-0 right now, where if you're 4-0, then maybe I'm panicking as a Viking fan. But the thing also that I look at is the upcoming schedules. The Bears have 2 opponents that I think are going to be way tougher than what the Vikings or even the Packers have. Your next 2, after a bye, you're going to go to Miami. Then you get to play New England at home. Then, you get the Jets and you get Buffalo. You get 2 rookie quarterbacks. Then right after that, it's division, where, you played the Packers tough, but you got to come to play against the Lions, the Vikings, and the Lions again. Where the Vikings, we get a tough one against the Eagles, but then right after that, we get that same Cardinals team. We get that Jets team, where those are 2 winnable games. Then we got to play the Saints in Detroit, and the schedule gets a little bit tougher. And, of course, after the bye, our schedule is tough. But at this time, while you're playing New England, basically while you're playing Miami and New England, we're playing Arizona and New York. We played the Eagles over your bye. Then I look at the Packers, and they get Detroit, which could be a tough one. So both the Packers and the Vikings have a tough game over your bye. But then the next game that the Packers get is against a Jimmy Garoppolo-led list. They're not led by Jimmy Garoppolo is what I'm saying.
Correct.
San Francisco 49er
C.J. Beathard
team.
actually was decent.
Yeah, but I'll take Aaron Rodgers over C.J. Beathard. Even a 50%
You say that
Aaron
now
Rodgers.
until C.J. Beathard goes out there and throws 7 tutties.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about the Packers then is you'll say, after the bye, they get the Rams on the road, the Patriots on the road, the Dolphins. Yeah, they do, but they also have sprinkled throughout that same Jets game, that same Cardinal game.
But here's the thing, though, with that. I mean, it's nice to say that when these teams play these teams, but all these teams are playing basically the same teams.
Yes.
So
there's a few that are different.
Yeah, the schedule doesn't matter in my eyes that much. What matters to me when it comes to Chicago is Packers game. What happened? The team fell apart. Not necessarily fell apart, but the team didn't play for 60 minutes. Well, in the Seahawks game, that got fixed. All right, cool. So what happened next? They needed to get the running game going because the running game was not very good in Seattle. In Chicago when Seattle came to Chicago. All right, Cardinals game. Running game was great. Mitchell Trubisky's not doing well, though. That was Mitchell Trubisky's worst game in my eyes in his entire career of 16 games.
And then he comes out and throws 6 touchdowns.
Exactly. So they're doing what they need to do at the moment. They're picking up these little things, and I love what Matt Nagy said of they're not taking this week off. The coaching staff is going to scout their own team and their own play calling and their own time management and all that and try and do better. And you're completely right. The Dolphins game is not an easy win. It's at Miami. That's a tough one. The Bears can easily lose that game. Patriots, if the Bears win that game, I mean, the Bears just won the Super Bowl in that case. Calm down, everybody. But that's just one. The Bears have no business beating the Patriots. Zero business beating the Patriots unless they, injure Tom Brady or something like that, which is totally possible because the Bears have played 7 quarterbacks so far in 4 weeks. But yeah, you have some of those easy games coming up too. But those are going to be difficult games, and the Bears have no business winning at least one of them. But the thing that has to be said is that the Bears are doing everything they need to do. They're doing all the right things right now. And the Khalil Mack trade really kind of jump shot where they should be. at the moment. So they're just doing these little things to fix and kind of become a better team. There's no reason why the Bears can't be an 8-win team. There's no reason why the Bears can't be a 9-win team. Is that good enough to win the division? Maybe, maybe not.
We'll see.
It depends a little bit on what I said of, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings need to not be worried about the Chicago Bears. They need to be worried about themselves. Minnesota's pass defense is not very good. Their offensive line is not very good. They've got a surprisingly bad running game at the moment. You look at the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers said it himself. I can throw the ball all day, but the rest of the team, where the hell are you guys? He's calling out the rest of his team to perform the way he is, and Aaron Rodgers is hurt, too. He's been playing through injury all season long, except for like that first quarter against the Bears. Besides that, he's been hurt all season. Both of these two teams are having trouble. And then we got the Lions out there who, are just kind of struggling a little bit as well as they have their coaching change and adapting to some new things. But this division where everyone's sitting there going like, well, we got two teams that are at least double-digit wins, and then maybe the Chicago Bears can get 7, 8, 9 wins as well. We're sitting there now going, hey, the way things look at the moment, a 9-7 team could win this division. Just because the two teams at the top are not as good as people thought at the moment, and the Chicago Bears are better than people thought, but a lot of people had them at like 6, 7 wins. Myself included. I think I had them at 7 until I revised after the Khalil Mack trade and put them at 9. But I still think that's around there.
Did we let you officially revise after the Khalil Mack? I can't remember if we did that on the podcast. I think I did.
Yeah, it was.
I think we did.
Yeah. It was the Chicago Bears became a playoff team at 9-7.
That's right.
Yep,
that's right. You said that.
And to throw it out there for the Packers fans who might be watching this hating me right now, and the Bears fans who are watching this loving me at the moment, knocking out the Packers out of the playoffs. So that was fun.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something I'm going to throw up, and I know when I do this kind of a thing, I'm going to say people get angry.
Sure.
Because
people get angry a lot. This is YouTube.
Of course, I get that every situation is different. Before the Khalil Mack trade, just to put that out there, you had the Bears at 8-8. So you gave them
better
only
than I thought.
1 or 2 wins with Khalil Mack. You had 10-6, 10-6 for Vikings Packers, 8 wins for the Bears, 7 wins for the Lions. Where before the Khalil Mack trade, did I go first for that one? I got to go back for mine. Where I had the Bears.
You had them at the
same.
I was going to say, you had them at the same record as last year.
I did. And then I gave them 2 wins. I said 7 and 9.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is worth 2 wins.
Here's the thing I also want to throw out. And I'm going to throw these out. And, of course, every situation is different. But I think we can learn from the past. Last year, we had very similar to this year. After 4 weeks of the season, the Chiefs were the only undefeated team. Guess who's the only undefeated? No, the Rams are still undefeated at this point, but the Chiefs undefeated just like last year.
Yep.
We had last year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 3-1 teams. I just want to quickly run through what their end of the year was and then kind of what happened with them. The Atlanta Falcons, they were on the good. They were a 10-win team, made the playoffs.
Cool.
Packers finished with 7 wins. Put an asterisk there. They didn't have Aaron Rodgers. The Denver Broncos started out 3-1. You're like, Ricky, why is that? They were a top 5 pick. They went on an epic losing streak, only won 5 games. I know what you're going to say. Ricky, you said it last year. They didn't have a quarterback last year. We got Mitchell Trubisky. I get it. I'm just going through
He's got a blue sleeve now. I don't know if you noticed.
He's got a blue sleeve. Then the Steelers, they finished with 13 wins, so they won 10 more games after that. You've got Carolina. They finished with 11 wins after going 3-1. The Bills, they went 9-7, made the playoffs, but went 9-7 after going 3-1. The Eagles, they won 13 after going 3-1.
Therefore, the Bears will win the Super Bowl.
The Lions, they go 9-7, and then the Rams go 11-5. And I know what you're saying. A lot of those teams, odds are,
about
the majority of them,
6.5 of them, because we're giving the Aaron Rodgers a half,
are going to make the playoff. I would even say,
And the
Denver,
Lions were 9-7.
Yeah, but like Denver too, I would say they should we knew who they were. We didn't expect them to be a great team. And of course, I'm not comparing the Bears to the Broncos, but the two that I look at are the Bills and the Lions. That to me, the Bears right now are either going to be the Atlanta Falcons and finish 10-6, or be the Lions and Bills and finish 8 wins and 9 wins. And the reason why I say that is right now, for sure wins that the Bears have left on their year for me: against the Jets, against the Bills, against the Giants, against the 49ers. Those are the only ones that for right now I can say
that give them at least 7 wins.
110% chance. That would give them 7.
Yeah.
To me, the defining factor for the Bears is going to be how they play the rest of the way in the division and how they play against Miami in Week 6.
Yeah.
Because if they win those for sure games, they're at 7. They win Miami, then they're at 8. Then you just got to split with the Vikings, split with the Lions.
10 wins.
And you're a 10-win team. But if you do what most people thought you'd do at the beginning of the year, I know you play the Vikings close in Chicago, but let's just say for the sake of argument, against the Vikings and the Packers, you go 0-2. But
possible.
You get a win against the Lions. So you got one against the Lions, the 4
so you're
that
9
I
and
said,
17.
the 5 that I said you would get, so you're at 9. Then it comes down it comes down to that Miami game. What did you do against Miami? In Miami, too. So, to me, with the Bears, yes, right now, you're in a great situation, a situation that many people did not think you would probably be in at this point.
Yeah.
But there is a still way long season to go, and the key thing is you got to keep this going, because if the Bears take the pedal off the gas for a second and lose a game, or make a mistake and lose a game, the Vikings and the Packers are still right there. And I think this division is anybody, except for the Lions.
And
I think it's anybody.
Let's not forget about the fact that both the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers have a little bit of an easy edge on the Chicago Bears being that tie. Because it's technically not a loss, can be a thing that gets them into the playoffs instead of the Bears. So that is something that might have an effect. Now, the Bears nearly beat the Packers. They probably should have beat the Packers in that game if the team didn't fall apart. I say they should have, but they lost, so obviously they shouldn't have. So, if that thing flips around this time, cool. That would be great. It was the Lambeau game. I didn't expect them to win that one anyways. I had them split the entire division, I believe. Maybe I had them sweep the Lions, but I think I had them split the entire division. And, it's possible for them to get in. The thing that you got to look at for a Chicago Bears fan is the team is doing what they need to do each week. They are fixing little things, not going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, with the team starting 3-1 and Mitch Trubisky going out there, finding a sleeve and throwing for 6 tutties, it's giving people a lot of hope. And now all of a sudden we're in if we don't go to the playoffs, it's going to be disappointing. Where if you were 2-2 or 1-3, you're like, hey, if we get to 8-8, life is great. Bears fans are not in that situation right now. I think there could be a little bit of a slap back to reality, slap back to the ground a little bit.
Up goes gravity.
But the problem is just that it's not problem, but the thing is it's just going to go back and forth. We can't expect Matt Nagy to fix something every single week and the team to get better every single week. But, we're going to have some of that. And then there's also going to be some falling back. The things for the Vikings, it's simple. If the Vikings, they got to fix this pass defense they have, and they got to get that running game going. I don't know what happened to that because they have such impressive players.
It's
out
easy.
there.
We lost Jerick McKinnon, and Dalvin Cook was injured for a couple weeks. That is it. Once Dalvin Cook is healthy, we're fine. Because last year,
is he ever going to be healthy though?
I hope. I don't have the answer
too, because I like Dalvin Cook.
I don't have the answer.
I don't like him as a Viking, but I like him as a player.
The thing that helped us last year, we're seeing the loss of Jerick McKinnon. Because last year we were fine because we had a two-headed monster of Latavius Murray and McKinnon. Now we don't have McKinnon.
You can go get Le'Veon Bell.
We could. I wouldn't mind that, but what would we have to give up to get him? And obviously, the thing that doesn't help the Vikings, and I've said it before, this is bigger than football, but the whole Everson Griffin stuff does not help us because that's a pass rusher that we need on our line to get after quarterbacks, and he's not out there. He's dealing with what he has to off the field. But like I said, that's a bigger than football issue. So for the Vikings, like for each team, we'll give
I was going to say a Packers thing too.
For the Vikings, I feel like the big thing is much like the Bears, where I said that the Miami game is important. This next week in Philly is super important. However, the silver lining, this Eagle team is not as dominant as we thought they would be earlier in the year. And a silver lining is if Marcus Mariota and the Titans can beat the Eagles, maybe we got a shot. And I mean, Kirk Cousins has been doing everything he has to try to win games for this team. We just got to figure out this pass defense. The Packers, as long as Aaron Rodgers is out there, they have a chance. They're going to make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, and they have a chance to win the division. And then with the Bears, it's simple. Don't take the pedal off the metal. As soon as this Bear team starts to lose a couple games, I could see it snowpiling. Plus, another thing I'll say about the Bears that most Bears fans won't want to say, let's see what happens as this Bears field starts to have the wear that it usually has, and see if the Bears can avoid injuries, because the Bears have done very well avoiding injuries so far in the year.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly have some. And hopefully Jordan Howard starts to really kind of go out there and lay it out, because that's the thing you got to have. If your field's bad, get a good running game. But, I said what I said about the Vikings, said what I said about the Bears. For the Packers, for me, Packers are in a nice situation, I actually think, to go ahead and get on top of this division.
Because they beat the Bills and the Vikings didn't.
I mean, that's a big part of it. Hopefully the Bears can beat the Bills too. That's just how it gets decided. If the Bears and the Vikings
Josh
both
Allen
lose,
throws for 7 touchdowns that game.
If the Bears and Vikings both lose to the Bills, division just automatically goes to the Packers. That's the way it goes. But fortunately, the Bears didn't lose to the Cardinals, because that would have been even worse. But anyways, the rushing game so far for the Packers, it's been about average. It's about what you want, right in the middle, the pack.
Maybe if they get Le'Veon.
If they get Le'Veon, I mean, all of a sudden it's going to be absolutely amazing. If they, you look at their passing game, and Aaron Rodgers has some critical things to say, and he's hobbling around, he's hurt. Randall Cobb's not even out there right now, but it's still been a average, middle-of-the-road passing game in the NFL. Get Randall Cobb out there, get some of these other guys to perform the way Aaron Rodgers wants them to perform, and all of a sudden this Packers offense is kind of going out there. And then you look at their defense. Their defense has been good. It's not been amazing, but it's been good. I mean, they certainly give up points, and I think it's skewed a little bit because they just shut out the Bills. So people are going to stand out there and say, they're amazing. This is the great defense
And Jimmy Graham is back.
Jimmy Graham is back, but the fact that, the Bills out there are not that great of a team. But still, it's a good defense, and it better be, because they spent a lot in this offseason trying to improve it. So the Packers at the moment, I'm giving them an edge to come up on top of everybody and just, lead this division for a little bit. I don't want that to happen. I want the Chicago Bears to stay on top for the rest of the season. I'll take 15-1. That's fine. But realistically, they'll slow down. The Vikings will speed up a little bit. And I think the Bears and Vikings could be in a similar spot towards the end of the season. And at the moment, it looks like the Green Bay Packers could come right up on top of it, as long as Aaron Rodgers gets healthy. That's a hard thing. He didn't take any time off, really. So he's been playing through these injuries that he's had. That could be fine. He could play through it, and it just took a little bit longer to heal. Or he just gets hurt.
Last question I want to ask you before we move on.
Yep.
Should we be giving some respect to the Lions? Because technically they're only a half game behind the Vikings, and they are field goals and one field goal and a touchdown away from being 3-1. They only lose by 3 and by 4 to the 49ers and Cowboys. Should we be giving
2 to the Cowboys?
Should we be giving more respect to the Lions?
We probably should, and we probably shouldn't. Their passing game's been good. Their running game is
better with
it's
carry
better.
on.
Yeah, it's better, but it's not amazing. But their defense hasn't been very good, and that's what it stands for to me. Is their defense has not been that great to where I don't think it could work out long term. If they came out and they were a 3-1 team at the moment, they were the Chicago Bears. Sure, they've got a little bit of a jump start, and then maybe they can be all right. But their defense needs to get better for me to sit there and say, okay, I think I think the Lions can actually make a splash in the division. They're just in this weird, awkward stage right now where they're just adapting to the new organization, new team.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Of course, we don't have Lions guy here to give us his thoughts. We don't have a Packer fan in the room to give us their thoughts. Had the Bear side, had the Viking side of it. This is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. Should Vikings be worried? Should the Packers be worried? Should the Lions be worried about the Bears? Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.